Welcome to my channel. This is Life with Ifoma. Hi, so let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Ifoma and I'm a Nigerian international student currently living and studying in Austria. So on this channel I'm going to be talking about different things, mostly my life as a student studying abroad, learning German, and also the process of relocation. So today we're going to be talking about a question that a lot of people have asked me since I posted my relocation video on TikTok, and that is, how can you get a student visa to Austria or to any country in Europe? So whether you're doing a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, I'm going to be going into detail about the application process and the visa acquisition process. So grab your pen, grab your notebook, because it's going to be a detailed one. So choosing a university, first you have to, before you can apply, you have to choose a university. And for Austria, there are a great mix of like public and private schools that you can choose from, and it's also the same for most of Europe. Though of course private universities are more expensive than public universities, especially in Austria and Germany. I think, yes, it's different for the UK, of course, in case you want to go to the UK. The UK is usually more expensive when it comes to schooling, but for Austria, education is quite cheaper compared to other European countries, because they do subsidize their education, especially for their citizens. They subsidize their education. So, but for private schools, you pay a little higher. Though for credibility's sake, public schools are more recognized. And another disadvantage with public schools is that most of their courses are offered in German. So if you don't know how to speak the language, you have to learn. For their language system, they have from A1 to C1. That's A1, A2, B1, B2, C1. And most times they are required to have a knowledge of C1 before you can commence your studies. So for that, most times to even be given an admission, you have to study the German language until the point of A2 before you can be admitted. So number one on your listings that you need for either bachelor's or master's studies, as long as it's in German, you have to have the A2 certificate, German certificate. Then most times they offer you admission as a non-degree student. That means you have to study the language for 1 year, and if you pass the language, if you're able to get C1, then you can start officially as a recognized student. If you want to apply for the bachelor's degree, there are a set of requirements that you need. So I'm going to be listing some here, though it depends on the school. Most times on the school website, you're going to see requirements for admission, but there are some basic things that you need to have, of course, in order to start this process. One is your international passport. You must have an international passport to do most of the things that are on the list. Then your WAEC results, and for your WAEC results, of course, it's according to Nigerians guidelines, you must have a minimum of 6 C's for it to be recognized that you passed. So in all your subjects, you must have at least a C. If you have a D, I doubt you might be able to get an admission. So you must have C's and above. Then your birth certificates, of course, and nothing really much. But if you're going to be doing a transfer, you need to have your transcript of records from your previous school. Because for me, I did a transfer. What I applied for was a transfer of school, which I had to present my previous transcript of records for the years that I've studied already in the university I'm studying in Nigeria. So But if you're starting from the beginning for your bachelor's, there's not going to be that, there won't be any need for a transcript. So what you just need is your international passport, your WIEC certificate, your birth certificate, and your German language certificate till A2. So if you don't have up to A2, they might not consider you if it's a course offered in German. But if it's a course offered in English, they might ask for IELTS or an official letter from WIEC, from the WIEC board, or from your secondary school, stating that the courses you offered were offered in English and that you have a sustainable knowledge of English. You have a professional knowledge of English, so you need that. And everything must be legalized by the embassy of the country you want to go to. For example, in this case now, you have to go to the embassy of Austria in Abuja in order to legalize these documents. What is legalization? It's just a way for them to verify that your documents are real and that you didn't fake your documents. So first, for the legalization process, most times you have to go to the Ministry of Education first to verify the documents. They will sign, they will do some things. If you're using an agent, the agent will do all these things for you, but most times it's more expensive. These things are not expensive, like they are very cheap to do, but when you use an agent, they will be calling millions of naira for you. And if you want to get it done fast, because if you go through the official way, I think everything you are supposed to spend there is not up to 10,000 naira, but they will delay you. That's the thing. They can withhold your documents for a month and you will not hear anything. So if like in a day or 2 days, and it will cost some money, of course. Then after that, you also have to go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and verify. After the Ministry of Education has stamped your documents, you also have to verify them at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs before you take it to the embassy of your country, of the country you're applying to. Then when you submit these documents, these verified documents to the country, you are required to pay a verification fee, meaning a lawyer is going to go to these maybe the schools you attended to, your secondary school, to check your statement of results and make sure you really took that WIEC in that school where you claim to. So when they have verified all these things, most times they pay a fee. If you go to the Austrian embassy's website, you're going to see how much they do pay. During my own time, I paid 200,000 naira. I think that was about 120 euros required. But now I heard the price has gone up. So now it's about 680,000 naira or so that you have to pay for the legalization. So when they have confirmed, they usually call you back after a month. After a month, they will call you back. Your documents have been verified. If there's any issue with the documents, they will return it back to you. But if there's no issue with the documents, then you pay an extra fee of I think it's 80 euros. No, 40 euros. You pay an extra fee of 40 euros per document. So if what you submitted is like 3 or 4 papers, you have to do 40 times 3, that's 120 euros. So you pay that to them, and then they stamp your documents before you can submit it to your school of choice for them to consider you for an admission. But sometimes, if you're lucky, some private schools don't actually require you to do this legalization before they give you admission. So if you apply to such private schools, you can just scan your documents and send it to them, and if they give you the admission before you then go to do this legalization, because sometimes after doing the legalization and the school denies you the admission, it's like you wasted the money. So some of these private schools allow you to send the documents or upload it online without legalization, which is better. So another thing is there are 3 categories of schools mainly in Austria. That's the Univin, that's the University of Vienna. They offer mostly humanities, social sciences. So if you're studying something like psychology, sociology, philosophy, or theology, mass communication, those kind of theater arts, University of Vienna is for you. Then the second one is Technical University of Vienna, which is mostly engineering courses and architecture, building, and then computer science too, computer science related courses. Those are the main things they offer. So it's more of like a technology engineering based school. Then the third one is the business school. That's I think it's called Festschaft University, something like that. Business university, where you study business related courses. Then there's another one which is more of a technical school. It's like getting an ND. So they usually do more technical. They have all these courses, engineering, computer science, but it's more of technical. They train you technically, though it's much more expensive compared to these normal schools, because these normal schools, they are subsidized, but technical school is not. So you'll be paying full tuition fee, which is like 3 times the school fees you're going to be paying in these other schools I mentioned before. So I'm going to drop a list of these schools and their websites, of the list of these schools and their websites, so that you can go through it, look at the bachelor's courses or master's courses offered in English and German, and know which one works. So for the master's process, I'm going to be listing the documents that you're going to be need. It's very similar to the bachelor's, just that your university documents will also be needed. So number one, you need a field application form of the school you're applying to. Then your previous academic certificates and transcripts, that's both your WAEC results, JAMB offer letter, your transcript from your university, statement of results, and your English proficiency. So you get a letter from your university for English proficiency stating that all courses you did in Nigeria were done in English. So you need a proof of German if the course you're applying for your master's is in German, but if it's not in German, there will be no need. The proof of the proficiency of English given to you by your university is enough. Then you need to write a statement of purpose, that's explaining why you want to study in that school. Then your passport copy. That will be all. So how things work is that for most public universities, the deadline for application is around March. Is around I think it's June for the winter semester, and October for the summer semester. So if you want to, the winter semester starts in October and the summer semester starts in March. So if you want to start the summer semester, which starts in March, you have to have applied by October of the last year. And if you want to study in October, you have to have applied by March of that year. So, and the admission process continues till July, thereabouts, and ends. So, and for the applied sciences university, the technical science university, they have a different one. So you can check, always make sure you check on their website to know when their deadlines are. Because here they don't pardon you if you cross a deadline. You have to wait. So if they say it ends in March, it ends in March. So for scholarships, funding for study, they don't really have a lot of that here, because education is subsidized, and they feel most people should be able to afford it, since it's cheap compared to education in Europe generally, or in the US and in Canada. But there are few funding that's made available. If you check grants.at, you can see a lot of opportunities there. I'm going to drop the link in the description so you can check what suits you, because there are some are for only females, while some are tailored to a particular course of study. Don't forget to support me by liking, subscribing, and sharing this video with whoever you think might need it. Thank you. So once you get your admission, and once the university that you applied for accepts you, you have to then start preparing for your travel, applying for a student visa, which is what you use to enter into the country. Also applying for your residence permit. So the visa is different from the permit. The visa is what you use to enter into the country, but to stay for periods longer than 6 months, you're going to need a residence permit, which states that you can stay in this country for a year due to the fact that you're studying. So the residence permit lasts for a year. After every 1 year, you have to renew it, because what they do is, after 1 year, some people travel, they come here for study, but they don't go to school. So after 1 year, they'll review your grades and see whether you're actually studying in school or doing well in school. Then you pay to renew for another 1 year. So that's how it works. So in order to apply for this, you're going to be required to present your university admission letter, then your proof of financial means. For Austria, I think they offer for students below the age of 24 years old, you have to show a proof of 20, like about 12,000 euros. Then for students above 24 years of age, you have to show about, I think, 16,000 euros. And you have to accommodation confirmation. So if you're in a scholarship, wherever the scholarship the funding the organization has paid for your rent, you have to show that. And if you're staying with someone, you also have to show that. So your accommodation confirmation, your health insurance proof, you have to pay for a travel insurance for the period of the time you're going to be traveling. Most times it's advised that you pay for 6 months, because while applying for the residence permit, the visa, sometimes it can be delayed for up to 6 months before you get it. So you need at least 6 months. Then your birth certificate and your passports and your police clearance. For this police clearance, is something that you can do within 24 hours at the police headquarters of whatever states you are staying in. But if it's something that maybe you came to Abuja to do it, you can do it directly at Abuja's police headquarters. Then for the police clearance during the residence permit, I remember then I just brought mine like that, and I paid about 10,000 naira for it, if I remember clearly. Yes. Then they said that you still have to legalize the police clearance, so you're going to be charged 80 euros. Your residence permit has been granted you, because after submitting these documents, it might take like maybe 3 weeks to a month, and they will get back to you that your residence permit has been cleared and is waiting for you in the country, because you don't pick it in Nigeria. The residence permit will be waiting for you in the country of where you're traveling to. So then what you have to do is to apply for visa in order to go into the country and to pick it up. So for your visa, you have to book an appointment with the embassy first. Book an appointment, submit your application, then you come in and pay for the you come into the embassy and pay for the visa fee. After the payment, they might call you back maybe like after maybe a week, depending. So for student visa, most times they don't really interview you unless they see that there is a problem with your documents. So if your statement of your funding is clear and everything is clear, they don't really interview. They just ask you, what are you traveling for, which school are you going to, and you say that. And if you're able to say it without stuttering or without being confused, they don't really interview you. So but for other kinds of travel, mostly family travel, because there's this thing about marrying and then divorcing when you get there. So I have those ones are tougher. But for student visa, as long as they ask you the questions, where are you studying, how are you paying for your studies, and you're able to answer clearly, you have no problem at all. So for the visa payments, they charge 150 euros for that, which you would pay. Then after about a week, it doesn't take much time, within a week to 2 weeks, they call you back to know whether it has been denied or accepted. So I know there are some other countries which send it to you through post, like they post it to you, they send it. But for Austria, you have to come in by yourself and come and pick it up. So yeah, I think that's most of it. So once your visa is approved and for the visa, I forgot, for the visa you also need to book your flight itinerary. They will ask you for your flight details. Sometimes you don't pay, because if you pay and they deny it, you might not be able to get 100% reimbursement for your flight. So sometimes you just book a date for your flight and print the flight booking confirmation. Then you have to take it on the day you're going for your visa application. Yeah. So once everything is done and if your visa is approved, first thing you do when you land in the country is to register your address to show that you have arrived. So you have to go to the local district of whatever area you're living in. You show your passports, then you register your address and they give you a mail de settle. That's what they call it. So then after that you have to go to the local government office also to go and pick up your residence permit card. There you're going to be charged 50 euros to pick it up, which is the cost every year. You charge 50 euros, you pay that, and you pick it up. That is when you can say that yes, I have arrived. So also open your bank account, buy a SIM card, register at your school, because you have to register at your school. Just having the admission letter is not enough. You have to go to your school, register in person, and that's basically it. Just enjoy yourself. So I think that's basically the full process of looking for an admission and to study as an international student, and filling out your application, getting your visa. That's basically the full process. But if I'm missing anything out, you can always drop a question on something I should address or speak about in the comment section. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in my next video. Bye.